Alright, what's up you guys? This is another revolver video, and in this video we're looking at the Smith & Wesson model 625. So this is a single action, double action revolver in 45 ACP. Some history behind this: the predecessor was the model 25, so this is the stainless version of the 25, and before the 25 we had the 1917. That was way back in World War II, when the 45 ACP was the caliber for the Army, and the 1911 was the default sidearm, but they started making revolvers in 45 ACP too as well. So this thing's been modified quite a bit, and it is just a beast. It has this really nice Wichita slab compensator in the vein of PPC pistols and a single port compensator. I just added this HIVIZ fiber optic front sight, and I upgraded the rear sight too, so we have a nice flat blade target Weigand rear sight. It's got the Hogue extended cylinder release, and other than that, I did some internals. So besides the Hogue big butt grips, inside there's some polishing I did. Put a lightened 11-pound rebound spring, and yeah, it's just a very smooth, we got unloaded trigger, and recorded an 8-pound pull, sometimes around 7, depending on how fast you're pulling. The cool thing about this is you can still load 45 rounds without the moon clip, but then you can't eject it, so you have to push out the casings with a pen or whatever, stick, a rod, something like that. But one thing I did notice is this thing is quite sensitive because of the tolerance, the head spacing. It's quite sensitive to primers that are not seated all the way, so even if it's, I don't know, a couple hundred thousandths of an inch out, if the primer isn't seated all the way, this cylinder won't go back. What makes loading these a lot easier is this BMT Mooner. They actually make this for end frame 45, 6 rounds. And basically you put your moon clip right there, and you drop the rounds in, and then you load them slowly. I actually like loading them one at a time because it's a lot more successful. But then when you're done, you put your rounds back on, flip it over, and you can unload the moon clip. So that's what makes shooting this a lot nicer, because you don't want to sit there ejecting the rounds by hand like it's a, I don't know, 1850 at Remington or something. But this 625 is really fun to shoot. I mean, it's heavy. I think it's 52, 53 ounces, so over 4 pounds. It absorbs a lot of the recoil. And I just took it to the range, so it's a little dirty, but let's check out that range footage. All right, range footage time. As you can see, this thing is super flat. It's heavy, so it eats up a lot of the recoil. It's got that big single port compensator, so that probably helps with pushing the gases upwards and reducing the muzzle flip. So if you watch the muzzle, it isn't rising that much. What's happening is I'm getting kicked back because this is 45 ACP. So you're going to feel that punch back, but you're not going to get a lot of the muzzle flip. And it was very, very pleasurable shooting this thing. I tried shooting it with the moon clips and without the moon clips, and it definitely is a lot better shooting it with the moon clips because it's a pain in the ass to just eject it one by one with a rod, or in my case, I had a flathead screwdriver I used to push the casings out. Just remember, when you shoot with this thing and you hand load like I do, make sure your primers are seated all the way. I had some primers that were just a bit too far, and they wouldn't let the cylinder close all the way.